Welcome back to the class, everyone. Today we are going to be looking over Grand Inquisitor's kit. It just dropped. We've been waiting a long time for this. He was released, the news about him was released a few months ago, and we're finally just getting to see him. And I have some concerns. I'm pretty hopeful to see what Theory Cryptors can do. But before looking at his overall kit, I want to look a little bit into what the devs have to say about him, and really what kind of makes me the most nervous here. So getting right into things, Grand Inquisitor was designed to challenge Galactic Legends, which good, Jedi Galactic Legends, so that's Jedi Master Kenobi, Jedi Master Luke, who are on teams without their lifter units in the Territory Wars game mode. This, I do not like this at all. Again, I don't think this is... It's probably as fair to pass judgment, actually, because CG is telling us this. But I don't know if this is going to be the outcome for every single Commander Tano team. I think there might be ways around this. I think Fifth Brother is actually a really important piece to that. But unless there's a Type 1 lead, it's going to be really hard to make that work without your opponent having really terrible mods. So, yeah. And I just don't really like this, because this is not the precedent. Like, Dadbod Boba wasn't just a counter for Lord Vader without Maul. Like, he beats all the comps with Maul. He has no issues with that at all. And then for the Grand Inquisitor, who's essentially his counterpart, at least to counter NGLs and Territories, to not beat the only version of JMK that people put down, that's not great. And like I said, I have a few thoughts where I would say that isn't final, but at the same time, not really how I wanted to start this video. I wanted to be a little bit more excited, and this becomes a little bit difficult. So his tags are what you would expect them to be. They're exactly like all the rest. He is an attacker, he's a leader, he's an Inquisitorius. Getting right into his kit, I do like his basic a little bit, just because it has the potential to attack 3 times. And the reason why that's really cool is because the most popular comp for JMK right now involves Padme. And typically, these second and third hits are counted as assists, or at least they can be, and that is going to generate extra protection up for who you're hitting, and we'll get to this later. But the more protection up your opponent has, the more max health damage you're going to do, which is really important, because Inquisitors kind of suck at dealing damage right now. They're really good at a lot of other things, but they're not good at that. Second op, dispel all debuffs on Inquisitorius allies. That's really good. We're going to see later on that all Inquisitorius are immune to ability block, so this is very important against JML, because what's going to happen in the JML fight is he's going to come and he's going to put out ability block and breach on everyone, and then you're just going to cleanse the breach, and you're going to continue on like normal, like it was nothing. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict ability block and vulnerable, so you kind of really flip the table on them. So now not only you're not ability blocked, but all of them are ability blocked, so they can't be using the special to call each other to assist for Jedi Master Luke to be able to get to his ultimate. That's actually really, really good. We'll get towards the end of the video, we'll talk about how relevant that is, that he's a counter to Jedi Master Luke, which can't be resisted. For each enemy with Purge, Inquisitorius allies recover 4% health. That's cool. Critical damage up, that's good too. I wanted to see more offense in this kit. There's critical damage littered everywhere, which is fine. Like, it's good, especially with a lot of the buffs that we have with Datacrons right now, giving stacking offense over time. But there's just, like, again, with JMK, he's immune to crits, like, for 80% of the battle. So getting all this critical damage up, it's not doing you a lot of good. Next up, remove 100% turn meter from the target enemy, which can't be resisted, and deal physical damage. Then inflict torture for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, etc. Gain 2 buffs for 2 turns based on the number of stacks of Purge. So he gets a bunch of these buffs, speed up, offense up. This is really, really good. But at the same time, I want them to start with more speed. And we're going to get to that when we approach his lead. He has actually a ton of ways of both giving his whole team speed and decreasing the enemy team speed as the battle goes on, but there's not a lot of starting with it. And the reason why I think he really needs to start with it is because Fifth Brother has an ability that is going to keep Cat from just annihilating someone right off the rip. So I mentioned this earlier in the video, and we'll bring it up now. Fifth Brother has this great interaction, which it's kind of meant for Shaak Ti and clones, but it also works for JMK Cat, where if he hits any Jedi with this ability, he inflicts fear on all non-Jedi enemies, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Basically, it means if you're stuck hitting GK, you hit him with this, Cat gets feared, can't annihilate your Ninth Sister, and you actually have a fighting chance at getting back at them. So that's why I think the team really needs a lot of speed to start right out the gate, because you're going to have a really, really rough time getting fear on Cat, given how the current speed meta is going between, not the speed meta, but how these two teams interact between the Grand Inquisitor and JMK. But that being said, that being said, let's go ahead and get back to the kit here. All right, so yeah, he has ways to get speed up. One other thing that I didn't mention in here that is also really cool is he equalizes health and protection percentages. This is very, very good against JMK because he has undispellable healing immunity, and this is the way around that, being able to equalize your health and protection, because healing immunity doesn't affect this. It's a really weird workaround that actually doesn't make a lot of logical sense, but it's how CG is choosing to do things, go figure. So that is really cool for that. It'll be helpful, especially with Ninth Sister being so freaking tanky. Being able to work around that is just awesome. So while in territory, we're coming back to this ability. The first time all enemies reach 6 stacks of purge, this ability's cooldown is reset if this ability has not defeated an enemy. If the target enemy has 6 stacks of purge and is not a Jedi, inflict buff immunity for 1 turn. I don't really get this interaction. If someone in the comments wants to tell me what this is, go for it, because I don't really know, like, what non-Jedi are you fighting? I guess this is what this probably is. It's probably not for Cat or really even like JML with Watt. This is probably for a completely different team. But I'm interested to see where that is gonna fall. Anyways, if the target enemy has 6 stacks of purge and is a Jedi, instantly defeat them. So that's really good, especially considering it blocks revives, because Jolie can be kind of a pain in the butt with those. Master Inquisitorius. So this is his leadership, and this is where I kind of see an issue. So Empire allies, they gain 20% max health protection and 10 speed. This is like, I really hope this is a typo and this isn't 10 flat speed. I hope this is 10 speed per Empire ally. That would be fantastic. And actually it would be not even just fantastic, but it would be relevant, because we'll go ahead and continue on. We'll lump it in the 15. If all Inquisitors at the start of the battle gain an additional 46% health and protection, that's kind of cool. That's a shout out to Order 66, 20, 46, 66, pretty cool. And 15 speed. So the 25 speed is Akbar level, man. That's like, this is like General Tarkin speed. Like, this is not good. And not only is this just bad in general, but there's no way that your 5th brother is going to be able to hit GK and put fear on Cat if this is the case. And this, I know they said their intention isn't for this to beat Cat, but I really dang want it to. Like, this is going to be a huge letdown if you can't kill JMK Cat. Even if you pour in like your best mod, I would be okay if it required like really hard mods or really high relics or something like that. But if it's just a non-starter, that sucks. All right, getting back to the kit. Hope that'll probably come back up though. If all Inquisitors they're all Inquisitors at the start of battle. Whenever purge is inflicted, they gain these, stacking buffs depending on their thingamabob. That's really good. Again, I don't want to see crit damage. I want to see offense. JMK has protection up. You can't crit them. Really kind of irrelevant. If the enemy leader is a Jedi, which most likely they are going to be, you're going to get these. These are okay. Not the best thing in the world, but they're okay. While in Territory Wars, while Grand Inquisitor is active and an enemy loses purge, they regain it at the end of the turn. So this is huge. This is the same exact mechanic that we really see with Dash and GAC, where when anyone loses prepared, they gain it back. And what we've seen in the Dash team is that what this does is it takes away the fear of using certain abilities, because sometimes you really want to keep purge on someone because you don't want Ninth Sister to stop taunting or whatever it is, and you're like, okay, so I can't get armor shred now with 8 brother using his special ability because I'm going to take away the purge, I'm going to lose the taunt, they're going to just destroy me. You don't have to worry about that at all now. You are just always going to have the purge on them, and there are a lot of other effects that Grand Inquisitor brings in with purge, so that's very good. For each Inquisitorious ally, enemies with purge have 10% less defense and less 5 speed. So that's really kind of great, and this goes back to what my earlier concern was. I want them to have speed out the gate. I don't want them to eventually get, strip the team of 30 speed per character or whatever it is. Defense is pretty cool. And again, this makes me think this is going to be a pretty hard JML counter. But I don't want a JML counter. I want a JMK counter. I want a JMK cat counter. And this just doesn't, they're even telling us it isn't. So I'm going to sound like a broken record for this. If an enemy evades an Inquisitorious ally's attack, all other enemies take true damage and dispel foresight from themselves. That's good. There is a lot of evasion going around, especially in the JMK team. They not only have foresight, but they even have evasion up via cat. So that's pretty cool. And again, Inquisitorious lack damage, so this stuff like 10% less defense, true damage, that is very, very important. The first time each enemy reaches 6 stacks of Purge, Grand Inquisitor takes a bonus turn and gains critical avoidance, health steal, offense, and 5 speed. So again, he's got ways of gaining speed, and actually these amounts double if the enemy is Jedi. But after the battle has already started, I need him to get it in the beginning. Whenever Jedi enemies with Purge gain protection up, they take damage equal to 25% max health. So this is what I was referring to at the very beginning of the video when we were looking at his basic. I'm not sure if his basic mechanics will exactly work that way, but this is just used in general because even without the basic working that way, Seventh Sister is constantly assisting. If she's constantly assisting and putting up protection up from Padme, and they're getting, 10% bonus protection, I believe is what it is, or protection up, then they're going to be losing 25% max health, and you're not only nullifying what Padme is doing, they're actually making it worse. So this does change the field, assuming the cat thing isn't an issue. And this damage can't defeat enemies, that's fine. If an enemy with 6 stacks of Purge were to reduce Grand Inquisitor's health to 1%, he recovers 100% health and protection. A limit once per enemy, so that's kind of a big deal too. That pretty much means he gets 5, depending on how the battle goes, he gets 5 savior mechanics on himself. Like, he's just really not going to want to die, which I guess is a little, well, we won't get into spoilers. At the start of the battle, if all allies, minimum 3 Inquisitors, this character gains max protection, max health, and potency inflict. All enemies with a stack of Purge at the start of the encounter, which can't be evaded. So that's good. That is going to slow him down a little bit, but it's not... I need it to be more. If this was like 6 stacks and they all get less 30 speed, that would be great. But 1 stack, I need them to get more things. Whenever Purge is consumed or dispelled, this character gains 3% turn meter. That's only going to be useful versus JML. So I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm a little worried about this. I was really hoping for a JMK count. I really don't know why we're not getting one either. Like, he's been in the meta for a long time, and I mean, I don't know of anyone who's setting JMK without Cat. I get that they wanted those to be elevated, but like, Dad Bob Boba did it, doesn't care. He shreds through Lord Vader with Maul. There was already such a disparity against them already, JMK and Lord Vader. This almost just makes the gap even wider. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope theory crafters come up with something. But from both what CG is telling us and from what I can discern from the kit, assuming there isn't any typos with this lead, this doesn't look good. I generally try to be fairly optimistic coming into the game, but this just seems bad. Like, this does not seem like it's going to change much of the meta at all. Like, sure, it's gonna destroy JML, but not a lot of people are just not gonna place JML on defense, and they're already not doing that. Very different from JMK, who's a very solid and very consistent defensive team. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. But yeah, remember to like and subscribe, and as always, stay awesome.